Okay, we're at 6:30 and waiting for...
It's on here. We're good.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 6:30, and I'll call this regular meeting of the Burnsville City Council to order. It is our tradition to stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, and we invite you to join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have announcements for our upcoming meetings. Regular meetings are scheduled for Tuesday, February 21st and Tuesday, March 6th at 6:30 p.m. And we have a work session scheduled for Tuesday, February 14th at 6:30 p.m. And all meetings are held here in the chambers, in the Burnsville City Council chambers. The next item is citizens' comments. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address the council on an item that is not on the printed agenda and not an application form that will be coming before us at a future date? Seeing no one, I will move on. The next item is additions to the final agenda, and this is for emergency items only. Mr. Ebling, are there any emergency items?
None to be proposed from the staff, Madam Mayor.
Members of the council, any emergency items? We'll move on. And we are at the consent agenda. This is a group of items that is considered to be routine, and we enact a motion with one vote, but an item can be removed for a separate discussion and vote. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes an item on the consent agenda to be removed for a separate discussion and vote? Mr. Ebling?
None from staff, Madam Mayor.
Members of the council? Then a motion to adopt is in order.
So moved. Second.
Councilmember Keeley makes a motion, second by Councilmember Gustafson. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. And the motion carries. The first item on the agenda, item number 5, is to consider approval of the 2012 Economic Development Commission's work plan. Presenting this evening is Mr. Ken Slipka, the chair of the Economic Development Commission. Good evening, Mr. Slipka, and welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Thank you for this opportunity. The EDC reviewed the draft 2012 work plan that was included in your background, and it's probably about 12 pages or so. At our January 11th, 2012 meeting, the work plan has clear objectives. We have work groups assigned and timelines for completion. The Commission, the Economic Development Commission, voted unanimously to recommend approval of the work plan, and at this time we would request council approval of that work plan. And I do stand for questions.
Members of the council, questions for Mr. Slipka? Councilmember Sherry.
Mr. Slipka, for the benefit of the public, could you outline a few of the things, or just touch on a few of the things that you'll be working on this year, without a lot of detail, but just give some highlights? Yeah.
Yeah.
I will go to the first page. We've got a task of development and redevelopment opportunities and policies to accelerate TIF assistance, tax abatement, land assembly, and a business subsidy policy. The last item, the business subsidy policy, we did look at the first draft, if you will, that came from staff, and we made some comments and et cetera. So at our next meeting, we will be revisiting that. These other items will be reviewed throughout this next year. We also are looking forward to receiving the Decision Resource Survey on business input from the various businesses. But I think also we really talked considerably about keeping our individual commissioners' ears to the ground relative to other business suggestions from the business community. And I know that all of you are doing that on a daily basis or weekly, whatever. So I think that's one thing that is very important. Our involvement, the commissioners will attend 4 various events throughout the year, and that's the minimum. And so far, our attendance has been very, very, very good. It's well over 90%. And as an example, tonight, member of our commission, Rich Vanderlaan, he's here as moral support. A couple of other things, we will be reviewing the redevelopment and renovation tools for the aging strip malls. That's been discussed a number of years consecutively, but that's an important item that maybe needs to just continue to be there. The Minnesota River Quadrant planning study, we've had some information presented to us on that already, and that will continue. The sign ordinance, which was revisited and approved in 2011, I think, the early part of 2011, we'll keep reviewing that, and there have already been comments made that we might have forgot one little bullet here and there. One of the things in the sign ordinance that you had asked us to look at was the timing of these reader boards. Remember, we kind of went back and forth on that, so we will be reviewing that again. Again, another ongoing task, we continually work with the Burnsville Commercial Real Estate Council. The Economic Development Coordinator, Skip Nienhaus, is very involved in that, and 2 of our other members are helping with that as well. The STEM program, which is science, technology, health, engineering, and manufacturing, that is a subcommittee of the Economic Development Commission. And some of our members attend those meetings, and I do believe Councilmember Sherry also attends those meetings. So we're kind of trying to keep up with a lot of that stuff. Last year, in June, we did review and made recommendation on the massage ordinance amendments. We discussed increased roles of the Economic Development Commission, and this year we're meeting 6 times per year at a minimum, whereas in the past we met 4 times a year. We also reviewed and made recommendations on that reader board message timing. Also, I do have, and we did approve, the STEM work plan for this upcoming year. And so with that, I don't know if that answered the question.
It does. I know I caught you off guard.
No, that's
But what
fine.
I wanted to do was give you an opportunity to toot your horn, because I think that that a lot of people don't understand all the work that the Economic Development Commission does, and the fact that your role has been expanding. And a lot of that expansion has come from suggestions from your members who see opportunities
I should,
Yeah.
excuse me for
Sure.
interrupting, Mary, but I should, in addition to myself and Mr. Vanderlaan, the other members on the board are Mr. Gene Grazzini, Craig Reibers, Chris Andrysky, and Kevin Sturts, and we did lose Gail Arrow. He
Yeah.
has moved to Florida, and so we no longer have an alternate. But, we're going to wait until the council revisits the applications that would be coming in May, and we can function fine with what we've got now. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I thank you very much.
And Mr. Slipka, I want to thank you and the members of the commission for all of the work that you do, because you're taking the time to do a lot of the heavy lifting up front and make recommendations to us helps us a great deal, because we have many things that we have to consider, and the piece on the economic development sector of our work is very important to us. And so the work that you and your colleagues do help us a great deal to continue the focus on economic vitality in our city. And thank you for all of that. We also know that you would like to have 2 more alternates. We have had a discussion about that and believe that that's something, if you need it, absolutely, it's just getting more people to sit on your commission. And then you'll have a full complement, I think, from your perspective.
Good, thank you.
Yeah. So thank you for
Any
that.
other questions?
I think you're doing exactly what we have asked you to do for us, and we appreciate that. The subsidy piece is really a great deal because we don't have too many tools. And the thing that we had asked you to look at, and our staff has done some good background work for you to explore and do an analysis of that, is great, because we need to have a full complement of tools to put on the table to attract businesses to come into our city. So thank you for that work.
Thank you.
And members of the council, any other thoughts? But we really appreciate all that you do.
Just to offer up our gratitude. Appreciate your hard work. It really is great. Ken and yourself and the rest of your team.
We'll pass that on.
Thank you.
Yes.
You know we do appreciate it very much.
And
Thank
for
you.
for our listening audience, your meeting is televised.
Yes, it is.
And you meet, please tell them when you meet, and I know everybody meets at 6:30.
6:30 p.m. on the second Wednesday
Of the month.
of the month, but it alternates.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
or it moves.
And
But it is listed on the city's website as well, and we welcome interested parties from the community at large to come and see what we're talking about and give us some input too.
yeah, and to our listening audience, they can stream your meeting if they missed it on our website, www.burnsville.org.
Correct.
So if they're interested in any of the subject matter, just go to the website and stream the
Yep.
meeting of that month.
You bet.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank
Thank you
you
very
so
much.
much.
for coming.
And members, I need a motion to accept and adopt the work plan.
I'll move to approve the work plan for the Economic Development Commission.
Second.
Councilmember Sherry makes the motion, second by Councilmember Coughlin. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. And the motion carries. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
very,
Mr.
very much.
Slipka.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you. The next item is item number 6, and this is to consider approval of the Planning Commission's 2012 work plan. And presenting this evening is Mr. Ram Singh, the Planning Commission Chair. Welcome, Mr. Singh, and we appreciate your taking the time to come and talk to us and present your work plan.
Mayor Coates, council members, it's an honor to represent the Planning Commission and to present to you our 2012 work plan. As you know, every year the Commission and staff put together a work plan of special projects to be completed. At the January 9th, 2012 Planning Commission meeting, the Commission reviewed and discussed and unanimously recommended that the City Council approve the 2012 work plan. There are a number of zoning ordinance updates and a subdivision ordinance review that need to occur as a result of the comprehensive plan update. The implementation items include the rezoning of properties and modifications to the subdivision ordinance. The Planning Commission will be involved in updating the 2030 comprehensive plan with 2010 census information and a revised transportation system statement. Work continues on the MRQ. Staff anticipates additional time dedicated to land uses within the MRQ as a follow-up to the joint work session with the Urban Land Institute from the fall of 2011. In addition to what was already approved, the commissioners agreed to add the following 2 items to the 2012 plan. The first one is the amendment ordinance for clarity on single-family and multi-family homes with metal roofs. We now have a few homes with metal roofs, but as this becomes more popular, we want to make sure that we have the ordinance to give guidance to homeowners and for the city council to check and make sure that they do meet the ordinance, whatever is being put out there. And secondly, we want to work on the screening of display pads at car dealerships. As you know, this is a hot topic. Car dealerships want the opposite of what the ordinance is, and we need to work on it and update it and make sure that everybody buys into it. I'm talking about dealerships. So that's our plan. You have the remainder in your packet. I just need to say, Madam Mayor Couts, that we give you credit for appointing wonderful people as planning commissioners. Our planning commission members are working very diligently. They take their job seriously, and they are excited about their work, and they come out at meetings, and we have discussions. Sometimes some go on very long, others are short, but it's good that they participate, and we have good recommendations that come to you for your consideration. I will not be doing my job if I don't give credit to staff. The Planning Commission staff are A1. I can tell you, many of us came in as new members, not sure what we had to do, but they walked us through, they held our hands, and they helped us all along. And I as chair of the Planning Commission, give credit to Chris Slania and Deb Garris and the other staff who help us at meetings. So thank you, Madam Chair. The Planning Commission members and staff recommend that the City Council approve the 2012 work plan. I stand for any questions with me.
Any questions? Councilmember Sherry?
Well, I just want to say, as someone who served on the Planning Commission, I get really excited when I see somebody getting excited about that stuff. It is fascinating, isn't it?
Yes, it
It is fascinating, and I know what you're saying about staff, because a lot of, you come onto it because you are interested to begin with, but it's staff who helps you understand the nuances and the importance of all of that, and it keeps you really interested. So I really appreciate also what you do, and I know it's very, very complex stuff, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I'll take your comments back to
Please
the
do.
Commission members.
Yeah, please do.
Chairman Singh, we really appreciate all the work that you and the commissioners have done. The recommendations that you have brought to us have been very thoughtful and well debated, because I watch your meetings and you do have long discussions over things because you are very thoughtful and you care about the community moving forward. So I thank you for that, and also appreciate that you're looking at bringing forward amendments that address the issues of our businesses, because businesses today have changed quite a bit. And our car dealerships are having to do more in terms of displaying their product in a way that people can see it. And so we appreciate that we can get ahead of it and work with them. And I thank you for that. The metal roofs is also very important, so we make sure that we have our residents understand what that is and if it's going to meet the criteria. And if it isn't, we need to talk about whether that's the right materials or not for our single-family dwellings. So thank you for all of that work. I know you have a very heavy work plan ahead of you, especially with the MRQ, and perhaps some amendments will come forth with all of that. And I believe that there is going to be a meeting between ourselves, the City Council, and the Planning Commission on the MRQ, so that we can really understand what that future vision is going to look like moving forward for the MRQ. That's very important.
Yes, Madam Chair and members, we do have a packed agenda for this year. This afternoon, before I came here, I talked to my wife and I said, let's hold all the vacation plans until
Well, we really appreciate the diligence that you and your members put into it. So please extend our sincere appreciation for all of the work that you do, because it helps us a great deal.
Very pleased to do so, Madam
Yeah.
Mayor.
Anything else that you would like to say to
Well, you said, I just want to, it's pretty common knowledge in most towns and people who are paying attention to local government that the Planning Commission toes the real heavy weight on behalf of the council, because by the time it comes to us, you've done all of that nitty-gritty detail work. And I share Councilmember Sherry's feelings that it's nice to have some people serve on Planning Commission that embrace it and actually enjoy it and find it more interesting than paint drying, because it's pretty dry stuff. But thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for what you're doing on the commission. That's wonderful work for us.
Thank you, Councilmember Keeley.
But-
Thank you very much.
what people don't realize is that your work is all about the technical aspects. And so you have to really understand all of the codes, the ordinance, and everything to look at the technical. And then you go out and look at the property. So thank you.
It really excites me because in my past life, I sat where you sit now as mayor and city council member, and I realized how important these commissions are to the work of the city council. So when I had the opportunity to, after I retired in particular from my regular work, I said, "Hey, now I have the chance to come and help with the city." And so I checked and see what commissions were available. And, the first one I was in, was the one that we had with Egan,
Yeah, the
Telecommunications Commission.
Yes.
And then I came over here, and I'm enjoying it, and I hope I can continue for a little while more.
You bet.
Okay, thank you. Members of the council, I need a motion if there's no objection to the work plan.
Move to approve.
Councilmember Keeley makes the motion.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Sherry. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. And the motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam
We appreciate
Mayor,
it.
and thank you, council members.
Thank you. Members of the council, there are no other items to come before us this evening, and a motion to adjourn is in order.
Motion to adjourn.
Councilmember Coughlin makes the motion. Second by Councilmember Keeley. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. And the motion carries. Good night, and thank you for being with us.
Very